Dina here, and we are going to read this story. Now, we've read this story a couple of times before. Do you remember the title? Yes, The Lonely Mailman. And do you remember who this is on the cover? Yes, the mailman. What was his little secret? Yes. What did the forest animals do when they discovered his secret? Yeah. So you're going to help me read this story. So I'm going to read a few pages and then I want you to retell the story with me. Every morning, just as the sun was rising, the old mailman leaves his house with a bag full of what? Letters! He climbs onto his bicycle and sets off on his way. The mailman goes to each door, rings the bell, and only says 4 words. Squirrel, letter for you. He whispers so quietly that even he can hardly hear the words. Hedgehog, letter for you. Do you remember what the squirrel, what he wrote to the squirrel? Yes, said sorry for pricking you yesterday from Hedgehog. And what did Hedgehog write? I know I pricked you, and I'm sorry. Let's have dinner, didn't he? Sometimes the animals that live in the forest would offer him coffee, but the mailman always smiles and says, no thank you, and rides off in a cloud of dust. Dormouse, letter for you. He never gets off his bicycle. Woodpecker, letter for you. The animals see him cycling through the forest every day, but they hardly know him. Butterfly, letter for you. In fact, nobody knows anything about the mailman at all. Turtle, letter for you. What do some of the animals think that the mailman is? They think he's sad, don't they? Because he doesn't say much, does he? Let's see what happens next. He delivers. Who does he deliver to? Let's see. This looks like, what is that? The beaver, maybe? The beaver, looks like there's the fox, the deer, and frogs. I don't see the skunk. There's a deer back there. Oh, there's the skunk right there. Miss Dina, on a side note, saw one out in the yard here this morning. A real live one. At last, the sun sets, and the mailman has no more letters in his bag. Feeling very tired, he heads... Where does he head? He heads home. Every night, what does he do? He sits down at his typewriter and he writes letters until he's exhausted, and then he falls asleep on his typewriter. And the next morning, he's back at it, isn't he? Let's find out what happens. What is the little mouse doing here? Yes. What happens here? Suddenly, at the end of his deliveries, he finds what? A letter for himself. How was the mailman feeling when he found this letter? Yes, he was feeling nervous. Why was he feeling so nervous? Because he had never gotten a letter before. Very good. So he goes in the house and he reads the letter. And what does the letter say? For a long time, your letters have filled our days with love and happiness. But now we've discovered your secret, and we want to thank you. Most of all, we want to share our happiness with you, the forest animals. And what do? They all come to his house, and he gets nervous because there's a bunch of people in his house, and he blushes because he's embarrassed. But they all rush over and give him hugs. And they cheer for him. The end. Thank you for helping me read my story. At the end of the story, the mailman thinks about writing more letters. He's no longer lonely. So I think he is done writing letters in secret. What kinds of letters do you think he'll write now that he doesn't have to keep it a secret? Yeah. How did the mailman's letter help other animals? How do you think the mailman can help the forest animals now that they know he wrote the letters? I think he could help them to write letters, to learn to communicate, because communication is important. Getting letters from their friends made the forest animals really happy. Do you think they will write their own letters now? I think the mailman will be happier now that he will get letters too. I wonder if we can write letters to our friends, just like the mailman wrote letters to the forest animals. What could we write to our friends? What kind of letters, what kinds of things would you say in a letter to your friends? Think about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.